Hey there, hey all. It is July 22nd, 2015. It is a Wednesday, comic book day, as always, as you can tell from the title, probably. And only picked up 4 books this week, so should be a pretty short video overall. Gonna probably have it all in one part. But after that, I do have some announcements I'd like to make about the future of this channel. So if you care at all, stick around for those. And yeah. So, jumping into the reviews, though, we have Hawkeye, issue 4, all new Hawkeye, issue number 4, coming a week after the finale of Fraction's Hawkeye run, which was legendary. This one, honestly, not as good, but, still holding up its end of the bargain so far. I still don't feel bad paying $4 a month for it. Anyway, this issue is mainly a flashback issue, as you can tell from this spread alone. We get 3/4 of the book, or 2/3 of this book, I don't know. Let's say 2/4 to 2/3 to 3/4 of this book is a flashback into Clint's childhood. We get pretty much Hawkeye Begins here, or at least the first few chapters, or second chapters of Hawkeye Begins. He's picking up a bow for the first time in this book as a child, practicing under the tutelage of the swordsman in the circus. And we see Kid Hawkeye miss a lot, which I like. We're so used to seeing Hawkeye hit his mark that seeing him miss when he's first learning. It is quite humanizing, actually. And then the last last little quarter of each page is a look into the current Hawkeye situation, where he's kind of raising the kids he kidnapped from AIM, and is treating them like actual kids instead of like weapons. And that, of course, parallels to the flashbacks where we see Clint becoming a weapon of sorts, learning how to use the bow, getting better and better at it, and also as future Clint is kind of bringing his family together. As we see here, we have Kate and Lucky still returning from the Fraction series, and we have the kids getting closer together. So as Hawkeye is making a family in the present, we see how he's getting more and more distant from Barney, his brother, in the past, in the flashbacks, as Barney is going more into the thieving part of the circus, while Hawkeye is good-natured and really just wants to practice with his bow and do the right thing. And then we see how they come together at the end, and how these paths end up diverging, how, Clint has changed, or not changed, from the good-natured kid he was to the Avenger he is now. It is an effective book. It is an effective story, especially the way they play it out. And the connections, the obvious juxtapositions that the book wants you to make between Hawkeye's childhood, running away from his parents and his family and trying to establish a new one in the circus, but just getting more and more distant from his brother, contradicts or contrasts from his present, where he's bringing all of these disparate people, himself, Kate, and these kids, all together under one roof and becoming one family. So yeah, it's getting there. It's still a good book. I'm still enjoying Hawkeye as a character, as a story, so I would recommend picking this up. Last 3 issues are pretty good too. I'm gonna ride this Hawkeye thing as long as it's good, and so far so good. Next up, we have We Are Robin, issue number 2. First issue I thought had a lot of potential. This one I feel not so much. I mean, it's not bad. The writing's interesting. I like what they're doing with the narration, how the narration is letters from Duke Thomas to his parents, or rather to his missing parents, explaining how he's developing as a character. It's a bit telling, not showing, but the book does a pretty good job of showing you, too, how his character is evolving as he becomes part of this group of Robins. And see Duke grow as a character who, like I guess Clint in the last book, he has he's very good natured, he wants what's best for people, and he's learning how to fight for it. He's learning the skills he needs to stand up for what he believes in, and start making a positive change on the world. In this issue, Duke is introduced to the old man behind the Robins, who I'm guessing, or who is named Nest, or whose code name is Nest. He's the one who outfits the Robins with their gear and gives them missions via cell phone. So Duke meets this very mysterious fellow who then recruits him into the Robins proper, gives him a bike and a jacket to go out and do some vigilante things with, and meets the other Robins. The other Robins, likewise, are developed a bit more. We get their team dynamic. There's the jock, there's the tech guy, there's the kind of nervous one who looks, maybe hesitates a bit before he leaps. So there's the tomboy, the girl who kicks just as much ass, even more ass than a lot of the guys. So building out that team dynamic. The book is pretty enough. I don't really find any faults with the art. I do like how the Robins pop out from everything else. Just the Robins are pretty much the only thing in red, and red's a very poppy color. So I like how you can always identify, okay, these are the Robins. These are the people we pay attention to. And then the fire and stuff. It's good art. I mean, the covers still outclass the interior art by a good mile or two, but it's not a hard book to look at. It's not a hard book to follow or to read. But yeah, nothing really grabbed me. I have a feeling if you like Teen Titans, you'd probably like this book. It's very in that spirit, teen group of heroes. But like I said, there's some things I want to say at the end of the reviews, and so, long story short, as much as I didn't hate this book, I even enjoyed it, probably won't be picking it up in the future. Next up, we have Grayson, which is still excellent. One of DC's better books that they are putting out every month. Like last issue, this issue leans very much more towards the James Bond sort of feel than this book has had previously, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying this book's take and the Dick Grayson take on the 007 shtick. So we begin pretty much right where we left off last issue, with Dick Grayson escaping this event where he stole a necklace from a princess and had to knock out his partner because matron Helena Bertinelli thought the partner might be a secret agent killer, and so told Dick to take him out before he gets taken out himself. Dick Grayson makes his escape from all the security in a very Dick Grayson way, just full of style and charm. Meanwhile, his partner wakes up and is very, very displeased to have been knocked out by Dick. Kind of swears his vengeance. He says, "I am Tiger King of Kandahar, and I will punish your betrayal with death." So he's taking it a bit harshly. The princess, too, takes it a bit harshly, goes after Dick himself, grabs a gun, and I love her line here. If there were any real men here, I wouldn't have been taken by a common thief with the most beautiful butt I've ever seen. Because, of course, Dick Grayson has the best ass in comic books. Just can't argue with that. That is canon. Meanwhile, Helena's still figuring out who the real agent killer might be. She's still trying to protect Grayson, trying to protect everyone out in the field, but Grayson in particular. And meanwhile, Dick himself has a run-in with Lex Luthor for the first time since joining Spiral. And this is a very, just the scene itself, again, I said very James Bondy, this book, and the scene itself, just incredible Bondness going on here. You get the setup of this part of the comic, which is very, that scene in pretty much every James Bond movie where he's on vacation, or he goes undercover, and it seems like vacation. He's on a nice pretty beach island, he's in the polo, he's in a cafe, and suddenly he's approached by the villain, and the villain and him have like a very frank face-to-face, I know you're a spy, and I know you're the villain, but we're just going to talk, and lace our speech with tons of double entendre and all that, because, I mean, James Bond has a strict formula we have to adhere to by now. And then, of course, you have the escape, where he's just jumps off a cliff, and here's where the ba-da, 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 ba-da would pop in if it were a James Bond movie, but instead you have him land on the invisible jet instead of on the invisible Aston Martin. But yeah, no, I'm loving all the cues this book is taking pretty much directly from James Bond and just slapping Dick Grayson charm all over it. It's just so fantastic, so charming, so well done. Like I said, one of the best books that DC is putting out every month. So yeah, if you like spy fiction, if you like James Bond, if you like Dick Grayson, I mean, one of those things, you have to at least like Dick Grayson, because everyone likes Dick Grayson. So definitely pick up this book. It will charm the pants off you. So yeah, just amazing stuff. Love it, love it, love it. And the last book this week is Wonder Woman, which I'm enjoying more and more every week. Not to say I don't have my niggling issues, but they are, I mean, they're a bit more than nitpicky, but, so we start with Wonder Woman dancing in a club, getting some stress relief that, if you've been reading this book, you agree you probably agree that she's needed. She's had a very hectic few months, so finally dancing it all off, shaking it off, as a certain Miss Swift might say. And of course, she's in a club. There are guys at the club, and guys are pigs, so she has to teach a guy to not touch a woman unless the woman gives you express permission to touch her, which is very reasonable. And then we have her being even more of a super terrific person when she runs into a homeless person, and the homeless person asks for change, and she says, oh, no, you're getting more than change. Come on, we'll give you a hot meal. We'll take you in. You can sleep with us for the night. So, like, just, this is why we love Wonder Woman. She is the avatar of compassion, and just a great character. However, my niggling issue with this is, in the last issue, they gave Wonder Woman this great new costume, very powerful, more covered up than she's ever been, pretty much. And then they have her immediately fighting in this kind of, in this very revealing dress. I mean, nowhere near as revealing as her usual costume, but, I mean, in the heels, short dress, and, I mean, I get it. Like, Wonder Woman can fight in whatever she wants to fight in, but I mean, what confuses me is why give Wonder Woman this new costume that does cover her up, have this very kind of more powerful costume, only to have her in the in the immediate next issue fight in a club dress. It just seems, why put this character in a costume that goes against all the other Wonder Woman costumes in terms of covering up, only to have her fight in something that is arguably more sexually charged in the next issue. I don't know. Could just be me finding, I don't know. It's just, again, I'm not really complaining. It's not that I don't like it. It's not that I'm saying she couldn't fight in this dress 24/7 if she wanted to, because she's fucking Wonder Woman and can fight whatever she wants. But thematically, it seems a bit confusing. Why do that? But, like in the last issue, the villain gets away just as soon as she catches up with him, after he attempts to assassinate her. So not much progress made on that front. We do, however, find out a bit more about the villain. His name is, what was his name? His name is Aegis, named after a king, Greek myth. He is the great-great-grandson of Poseidon, and this is another niggling issue. He's supposed to be the great-grandson of Theseus, who is an ancient Greek myth. And the timeline, just for me, it doesn't necessarily line up. I mean, Theseus existed. If he existed at all, let's say he existed during, he's an ancient Greek legend. I don't see how he's 4 generations removed between ancient Greece and the current day. I mean, okay, I guess I can accept that that Theseus and all the people with Theseus's blood can live up to 300, 400 years or whatever. But in that case, they should have more and more children. Like, he shouldn't be the only the only surviving member of this bloodline. And also, if he is directly related to Poseidon, then is he also related in some part to Aquaman? Because, and I could be mistaken here, I'm not a huge Aquaman buff, but isn't Aquaman somehow related to Poseidon, being that he's the king of Atlantis, and he has, like, the trident and all that? Shouldn't he also... So I'm wondering, like, is this guy Aquaman's nephew or cousin or something? I mean, he's also blonde-haired, blue-eyed. He does look like he could be, and if he's... I don't know. Just, like, the whole family dynamics of this character isn't working out for me. And yes, that is nitpicky. But, yeah, just something that is, like, maybe could have thought this through. Maybe could have added a little, 2, 3, 8 more greats in his relationship to Poseidon. He's his great-great-great-great-great-grandson of Theseus. That would have, made a bit more sense chronologically to me. But yeah, that's something we find out about the villain here. And of course, he's trying to kill Diana so he can ascend to godhood himself. The book ends with Diana once again talking to Donna, trying to get Donna to forgive herself, to turn over a new leaf, instead of just drown in self-loathing for the crime she committed, because, you have to have that compassion, you have to have that forgiveness with Wonder Woman's character. And yeah, going back to the costume thing, just because it's something I really can't get over, apparently. So they have Wonder Woman fight in the dress in the beginning of the book, then they have her get into this warrior costume where she does no fighting whatsoever. I mean, it seems like those two should have been, a bit reversed, where she's in the warrior costume when she's fighting, and she's in the casual costume when she's comforting Donna Troy here, but I don't know. That's why I don't write comic books, I guess. But that's what we got in Wonder Woman 42. Again, enjoying it a lot more than I have been previously. This is a book I'm going to keep reading. And yeah, if you like Wonder Woman, there's enough character stuff in here to make it worth your while. The fight scene, though short, is good. And a lot of my issues, as I said, were very nitpicky, so they don't ruin the book for me entirely. Oh, and in case you're wondering, these variant covers, there's a Teen Titan Go variant covers, it says on the corners there. I quite like them. I mean, they're not quite as good as Scotty Young. I mean, they're kind of in that style. They're chibi, kind of super deformed characters, but I mean, I like them. They're cute. I like cute. So, those are the reviews for this week. Grayson being the standout book, the one I recommend most of the 4. Now that we're done with the reviews, some announcements I wanted to make. So, first of all, I hope you haven't gotten too used to this painting in the background, because over the weekend I will be moving. Not a huge move, just like a couple area codes, maybe even one area code away from where I am now. Still in New York City. Literally, like, I'm 10 minutes on the not even 10 minutes on the subway removed. But it's still a move. Gonna have a different background. Gonna be in a new place. So, yeah. Expect a different background next week. And with that comes more fiscal responsibilities I'll have to take care of, which means that over the coming weeks I will be buying less and less comics. Going to be narrowing my pull list. The goal is by October, by the time that Marvel reboots its line, that I will be pulling 30 books a month. Right now I'm pulling something in the 50 range, so it's going to be eliminating about half of the books I pick up every week. So, yeah, until I make money, enough money to be covering my new expenses and all these books I buy every week, there will be less and less to review. Like, the goal is, like, 8 books a week for comics. I mean, that's, like, 32 books a month. But, I mean, you see where I'm getting here. I'm going to be reviewing less books. And what books I keep, I don't want to leave entirely out of your control. So if there are any books you would like me to read, please tell me, I want you to keep on reviewing this book every month so I can keep that in consideration and keep on buying those books for you. The books that you think I'm going to review every week, the books you think I'm keeping, I'm probably keeping. So I'm keeping Sex Criminals, I'm keeping Batman, I'm keeping Grayson, I'm keeping Action Comics, I'm keeping Hawkeye, I'm keeping Amazing Spider-Man. Trying to think, like, other books. I'm keeping Miss Marvel. I don't know, actually. I might get rid of Miss Marvel. We'll see. But yeah, all the books that I've totally expressed I love every month, I'm keeping those because, like I said, I love reading those books. But things like Detective Comics, things like Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel is losing Kelly Sue DeConnick, so I might not be picking that up every month. Things like, what else? Justice League of America, things like Superman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Spider-Gwen, things like that. Those are books I'm going to have to really start thinking, do I want to pick this up every week, or is that $4 a month that I could be spending on food or a cell phone bill, things like that. And yeah, of course, if I find a better job, if I'm making more money, then then I don't have to cut so many books out. Hopefully that will be the case, but got to prepare for the worst. Anyway, yeah, that's where I am right now. Just wanted to let you guys know to expect shorter reviews, or less reviews, rather, in the future. And of course, because of this move, I haven't really had the time to read through Wicked and Divine, Satellite Sam, or Casanova as I wanted to. There is a new Casanova book coming out next week, and hopefully by that time I'll be moved in enough and have enough free time to get to reading that. Also, the first week of August I will be in England, so I will not be doing these reviews. Just more updates, because that is what we're doing in this end of video thing. So, general end of video wrap up things now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this enough to want to watch it every week, please subscribe. Any comments, questions, anything whatsoever, feel free to leave them down below. And like I said, if there are any books that you want me to keep on reviewing month in, month out, that you think might be on the cutting block, please, again, say, I want you to review this book every month, and I will do my best to keep that in my pull list. And yes, that should wrap everything up. I think that's everything I want to say. So, yes, thank you for watching, and I hope that you will join me next week for more reviews of comic books.